Gerard Khalil, the Completionist, or That One Video Gamer, is a creator who made it big in ways most never do. Not only has he received millions of views over the years, he's been praised in mainstream news like CNN, been a paid promoter of big brands like Sonic the Hedgehog, and has been on TV, whether that's appearing on Storage Wars as a guest, or being a host on the short-lived revival of gaming-related TV station G4. He's put in a lot of work to try and keep a very friendly and safe brand. And despite some minor drama, it worked. You don't get praised by CNN by making controversial statements like some of his fellow Normal Boots members, a now basically defunct gaming content group. Although this mostly crystal clear image of his has been shattered. In late 2023, he got himself into a huge controversy regarding the mishandling of charity funds. Gerard's tale involves more controversy, and also nuance, than I think most people realize. In today's video, I want to document some of his career. We'll talk about his origins and some of the drama. We discussed him briefly in my previous Normal Boots video, but now we will go into more detail. Gerard, a Los Angeles native, attended and graduated from the California State University, Fullerton, with a college degree in theater and film. Following graduation, he had a job at Best Buy. While working a rather boring job, not connected to his degree, he was trying to decide what he wanted to do with his life, something I'm sure almost anybody can relate to. Gerard had developed an interest in video game media content, watching the now defunct gaming TV station, G4, while on break at his job. While at Best Buy, he wanted to make content talking about games, with him already trying his hand at it, writing scripts and the likes, trying to launch a career on YouTube multiple times, but unfortunately it never went anywhere. With Gerard admitting in retrospect, those shows he tried previously were bad, although it was all going to change. There's been kind of a revisionist history with how this happened. In a Red Bull article published in July 2017, Gerard, through a chance encounter, got to meet Aaron Hansen, a popular animator and Let's Player from the show Game Grumps, in 2011. Aaron was supportive of Gerard, so he quit his job at Best Buy the next day and spent 2 months making the first episode of his brand new YouTube show, which Aaron and other YouTubers shared, and basically overnight he was handed a YouTube career in early 2012. Now that other creator and chance encounter was JonTron. In early 2017, John had a now infamous debate against liberal streamer Destiny, in which they discussed John's anti-immigration views. The stream led to John facing a lot of backlash. I have no idea if Gerard purposely ignored saying his name for this article, or if the journalist who wrote it ignored writing it in, but it is some revisionist history nonetheless. I mean, John was literally a guest on episode 4 of Gerard's show. An article is further out from the controversy about Gerard, start saying John's name again.
Yeah, so I met everyone through John. John and I went to high school together. We actually went to rival high schools, so I've known John a very, very long time. And when JonTron show started taking off, I met Aaron first because John needed to have a live stream at his house, and his parents wouldn't let him have the live stream there. So we moved into my house, and that's where I met Aaron for the first time. I had no idea who Aaron was at the time. I didn't know anything about Ego Raptor or animations. And he was such a fun guy to talk to.
Gerard got his name The Completionist from his childhood, as that's how he played video games growing up. He would beat them 100%, collecting and unlocking everything in the game. He did this because he hoped this would make his parents go out and buy him more games. And when he realized no one else was making videos discussing 100%ing video games, he decided to be the one to do it. It was a pretty clever gimmick and branding for the time. While he was handed a career by people who he made connections with, the audience stuck around because the videos were good. The videos would switch between live action shots of him and showcasing the gameplay with voiceovers. While I never really watched Gerard growing up, I don't think at all, and I still don't, I do definitely think he's a charismatic guy, and I can see why people stuck around, to the point of him gaining over 1 million subscribers. Gerard quickly joined Normal Boots, a content group that included people like JonTron, Peanut Butter Gamer, and more. He seemingly replaced Cold Morning, a Normal Boots affiliated channel that never went anywhere. In my Normal Boots video, I incorrectly stated that Gerard left in 2019, although that was an error I made due to poor wording on his Wikipedia article. From my understanding, he is still officially a part of Normal Boots, however it's pretty inactive these days, and in 2020, he signed a creative artists agency. Within these early videos, he frequently collaborated with somebody by the name of Greg Wilmot. Greg was the Mediocreist, who was the comic relief in the episodes, and from my understanding, he also did Let's Plays with Gerard on the Super Beard Bros channel. And Greg was a part of Gerard's brand until February 2015, when he stopped appearing in the videos due to their friendship ending. And that leads us into our first Gerard controversy. When Greg left, Gerard commented on the Normal Boots subreddit, asking the audience to respect the decision, and also thanking everybody for watching over the years. Although the post ends with an edit, this was due to some tweets from Greg, where he made it clear that they were not friends, and he did not leave willingly. Now, the following is kinda hard to follow, as it wasn't properly archived and documented. I did my best to try and piece together the puzzle. The edit on Gerard's comment responds to tweets made by Greg. Gerard makes it clear that him and Greg are no longer friends. Also within the post, he talks about trying to handle the situation diplomatically, which apparently Greg didn't like. Gerard also apologizes if it seems like he lied. I'm assuming the lie being the public's perspective that they were still friends, as before the edit that was never clarified, with Gerard being vague on what happened. Trying to quell rumors, Gerard also says the end of their friendship wasn't over a woman, as they were both in their own relationships. Greg went on. He also stated he didn't make the videos for the money, and that he didn't benefit from the departure, although he claims Gerard did. After Greg left, he started a new channel called On Tour Now, a channel that uploads here and there, posting concert videos. He also apparently ran a podcast at one point, but that appears to be lost media, and I don't think any of these new projects he tried to start went anywhere. Going forward, Gerard seemed to try and be respectful of Greg. While going through his Twitter, whenever Gerard tweeted about him, he kept it neutral. At one point, he admitted he wouldn't make a certain type of video out of respect for Greg. In January 2016, Greg would return once again to Reddit to discuss the fallout in the show in retrospect. The post is very heartfelt and personable. Most interestingly, he seemed to miss Gerard, making it clear this post was not made to try and tear him down. Greg wrote that Gerard and him were simply just two completely different people, and they were growing apart a year prior to the split. Greg simply valued time with his wife more than anything, and lived far away from the office. He also says that like him and Gerard had two completely different work ethics. Greg claims what drove a stake between his and Gerard's friendship was how he, Greg, handled issues. Greg liked to make jokes about difficult things to try and make it easier, but this upset Gerard, saying he was at fault for that. One thing he talks about is how there was no contract between the two. He ponders about maybe there should have been one, or if it would have ruined the creative freedom and process. But he felt like he was removed from the show due to their friendship ending, and punished by Gerard's business that he had no protection in. A show that he felt he himself was a big reason why it succeeded, and he felt like he was being erased from the history of the show. The post ends with Greg reminiscing on his past with Gerard, before he was even the Completionist, saying how he misses him, ending the post wishing him a happy birthday. After this, Greg would disappear once again, back into the shadows. On May 24th, 2017, Greg sent Gerard an email threatening legal action if he didn't remove over 100 videos from the channel within 2 weeks. In the email, Greg claimed Gerard's termination of him was unlawful, and he clearly didn't like the fact his likeness was still on the channel. He felt the removal of the content would give him creative freedom if he decided to return. Greg also stated he wasn't trying to harm Gerard's business, making the point that he now left years ago, and Gerard has uploaded a bunch of new videos since. In Gerard's public response, he is pretty clearly emotional about the situation, which I can't fault him for. It seemed like him and Greg were good friends, had a falling out, and now he's being threatened with legal action if he doesn't remove over 100 videos he poured time into. He was likely also still profiting off of those videos, so this would be losing him money, which this is just speculation. I have to assume is the reason why Greg wanted these videos down. He complained earlier about the lack of a contract, so he probably wasn't getting any money off of these videos, but Gerard was. Gerard said people around him said just to let Greg sue him, but he decided to just do what Greg requested. He wrote an email to Greg agreeing. With him being pretty disappointed, Greg never wrote him back.
I decided to give in. I responded to Greg saying that I would remove all the videos that he is in at his request, and he never wrote back. I am damned if I do remove these videos, possibly legally damned if I don't. So, it's with a heavy heart that I announce that I am going to be removing all 120 episodes of The Completionist. Every top 10, every Defend It, every Super Beer Bros series, and any and all goofy, random videos that features Greg Wilmot and his likeness on September 1st.
Within the video where he announced he would be deleting all the older videos on a certain day, he also encouraged his audience to download all of the videos and repost them to other websites.
So now's the time. Download those videos, back them up, give them out to everyone, put them on Pirate Bay. I don't care. Just please do not try and make money off of this, okay? That's all I ask.
Although saying if they posted them to YouTube, he would have to DMCA them. In my opinion, saying that seems like a bad idea. However, no legal action ever occurred from what I can tell. And the removal of all of these videos led to a new series on The Completionist called New Game Plus, in which he went back and re-reviewed the games whose episodes he had to delete. At the time, most people sided with Gerard, fellow Normal Boots creator Peanut Butter Gamer, tweeting out in response to Greg that the argument involving not giving permission to use his likeness doesn't make any sense, as Greg traveled to record with Gerard for years. Of course he was giving permission to use his likeness. PBG and others felt like this was some attempt at revenge. Following the Greg situation, Gerard continued as normal, getting to grow and be involved in more traditional media projects. One thing Gerard did for many years was being involved in charity work. He ran an annual event called Indieland, which benefited the Open Hand Foundation. Open Hand raises money for things in support of dementia research and the likes, as his late mother suffered from it. Since 2014, Open Hand has raised over $500,000. This seems like a pretty uncontroversial and wonderful thing, until YouTubers Mutahar and Karl Jobst published videos at the same time going over public records showcasing the charity hadn't donated anything. There were public tax filings showing money coming in, and then some of it being spent on expenses, but nothing was being donated to any organization. This rightfully concerned fellow creators and audience members, such as the YouTuber Tipster.
It's so weird. So like the money's coming in, right? The money's coming in, people are donating the money and they're receiving it and they're hanging on to it, but like it's not going where it's intended to go. So like, what are they doing with that money? What have they been doing with that money this whole time? From what I understand that was said in this video, you have to file your taxes just like anybody else, even though you're a nonprofit. And so you have to file how much money you took in, how much money you spent for operating costs, and then how much money was actually donated. But you have to, put all these things in your filings, and the filings show that money was coming in and they were spending money on expenses. Not all the money they were receiving, but they were still spending money on expenses. But no money was going out. None. The money that was supposed to be going out to the charities, it wasn't going out. It's fucking weird.
Karl and Mutahar even went further, claiming another charity event Gerard's family ran since 2003 was also not trustworthy. They ran a golf tournament that had big sponsors from world-famous brands. However, they suspected the money from that event wasn't being properly reported. To be clear, regarding the non-Indieland events, Gerard says he wasn't involved in those, which I believe considering the fact his family has been running those since he was around 15 years old.
Just to be clear too, Indieland is the only thing that I'm a part of. Any other fundraiser, whether it be private or public within the Open Hand, I have nothing to do with.
While investigating, Karl asked Gerard's brother why the money hadn't been donated. He claimed they had donated in the past, but that was before the foundation was officially registered, so it wasn't on the public tax filings. In regards to the $600,000, he said that they were taking a vigilant approach on who to donate the money to, despite the fact Open Hand had previously claimed what organizations they were already supporting financially.
We just, every year, we try and raise as much money as possible, and then we go work with, Alzheimer's Association of America, University of San Francisco, Association for FTD, which is what my mom had, FTD.
Brother and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world. We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association, currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all of this. All the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing. We are raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more. It took too long for clear action to occur, and I apologize for all of this. But such inaction was not done for any selfish or malicious reasons.
This search for the best charity had apparently been going on since around 2020 or 2021, according to Gerard, claiming that there was a paper trail of them talking to organizations. He also said he wasn't notified that the money was just sitting in a bank account until 2021 or 2022. In a Discord call, Gerard begged Mutahar and Karl not to go public, claiming he was worried about the situation ruining his mom's legacy and hurting his employees.
The last thing I want to do is ruin the legacy of my family, of my mom and her memory, especially because this is such a personal thing for the last 25 years of my life. I'm not trying to be like, do you guys want money to help me hide this? It's not what this is at all. I'm just asking from a humanity perspective of like, if I am the target of this, I have 20 mouths to feed. I have sponsors. I have a business. I'm trying to make video games. I'm trying to get out of content creation so I don't have to worry about YouTube anymore and do better things in the world.
He also speaks negatively of his past associations to JonTron and ProJared due to their controversies and how that's affected him negatively.
And I just know because of my track record of things like G4 exploding, me being friends with JonTron when he was a racist, I've been a part of ProJared, pulling one thread about the charity thing is going to upheave my entire life in a way that scares the living crap out of me.
Which is interesting because ProJared came out defending him instantly, although he deleted his tweet because he falsely claimed Mutahar and Karl never reached out to Gerard. ProJared clearly wasn't informed on the situation, he just wanted to defend an associate of his. For a quick recap, within the phone call, Gerard said they had all the money. It was simply just sitting in a bank account, and he had only somewhat recently realized it had not been properly moved. I guess he assumed somebody else was taking care of it? I mean, this was a family charity after all. It's not outside the realm of possibility he believed another family member was taking care of it. Following multiple videos being released by Mutahar and Karl, saying that he was a scammer and a thief, and later saying he needed to be criminally investigated.
This absolutely needs to be investigated by the authorities, and the only way that happens is if the Open Hand Foundation is reported. I'm going to put a link to where you can raise a complaint in the description, and I hope that many of you consider taking a couple of minutes to do so. It's obvious Open Hand isn't in a rush to respond or donate the money, so at this point, all we can do is wait for those with power to step in.
Open Hand then donated the money. So, like he stated originally, they had the money. And Mutahar and Karl claiming it was missing or stolen was just straight up speculation that turned out to be false. Gerard responded in a video, stating that the money was safe and finally donated, apologizing for the delay, saying there was no fraud and nothing criminal. Due to the high volume of people reporting the situation to the IRS and Department of Justice, he expected an audit to take place, and he welcomed it. He stood tall, saying he had nothing to hide. He was so confident that he said he was considering taking legal action against Karl and Mutahar.
Saying that we are fraudsters, that what we are doing is illegal and constitutes charity fraud, that we are using my dead mother's name to potentially embezzle money and steal is categorically false. My family and I are in serious conversations with our legal teams regarding next steps, as the allegations that have been made with complete disregard for the truth of the matter. These allegations were made by individuals who self-admittedly aren't even financial or legal professionals. These allegations are slanderous, and we believe we're done with selfish intent. They have directly jeopardized the safety of me, my staff, and my family, and that is not okay. I want to reiterate and specifically address that both the Foundation and I have been accused of forgery, embezzlement, and charity fraud. The allegations imply the Foundation forged tax returns because they weren't physical signatures on them when we e-filed them, or that we altered numbers to hide income or expenses. We can account for every single dollar received and spent in the last 9 years. We do not have anything to hide. And due to the overwhelming amount of people who have been instructed to file complaints to the IRS and Department of Justice, we understand an audit may be coming and we welcome it. Our legal and financial teams have assured us that we have done nothing criminally wrong or illegal.
Although I have no idea if there's been any developments regarding that. Gerard also announced he was leaving the Foundation. One reason given for the donation delay was talking to, and trying to find, an organization that would be using the money exclusively for charity, not on administration costs, which is a more detailed explanation to what his brother told Karl. Although, like we've been over, in the past, Open Hand had claimed to already financially supported groups, like the University of California, San Francisco.
Currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all of this.
This was a main argument in Mutahar's video. He also pointed out Open Hand made it seem like whatever money was being donated year to year when it wasn't. But like Gerard said earlier, he claims he didn't know the money wasn't being moved. In response to Gerard publicly stating he's not afraid of an audit, Mutahar said that's not the point. An audit would prove that the money wasn't being moved around incorrectly, when the main issue is that the money was solicited through false statements, and how it just sat there for years. The controversy would obviously negatively affect Gerard. Outside of the bad press, Gerard's cameo from a video game would be removed during his first normal upload after his response. A video about the recent remake of Super Mario RPG. Gerard acknowledged the controversy, saying he knows he's lost some trust from his audience, although he wants to work to re-earn it. This was met with a negative reaction. It felt out of place in the video and just felt fake.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist, where we don't just beat the games, we complete them. Before we start today's video, I want to recognize that I know that I have lost a lot of your trust at home. And I want to spend as much time as it will take to rebuild and re-earn your trust. It's going to take time, but I'm willing to put in the commitment, and I hope you give me a chance. So with that said, thank you for being here, and thanks for watching. Everyone who knows me knows that Super Mario RPG is one of my favorite games of all time.
And since then, he's just been posting as normal. In early January 2024, he discussed how the controversy led to him having to downsize his company, claiming he basically closed up shop for the majority of the people there.
TOVG as a company has downsized significantly. I've decided to basically close up shop for a majority of the team. And please don't take this as sadness. Don't take this as like I'm farming. This is just, it is what it is, you know? And there's still a team that's with me, but it's much smaller. And now individuals are looking for jobs. And I'm going to help them find
What a story, bitch.
find new jobs. And I'm working with, thank you for the bits, by the way. The company still exists. It's just like a few people, a lot smaller than it was before.
He seemed disappointed about it, but saying he was going to help those let go find new jobs. He briefly spoke about this on a Twitch stream, on which he also said he gave away the Super Beard Bros channel. While he said all of this, he also made sure to state that there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that he couldn't talk about. Since then, he has returned to doing charity fundraising streams, although he has learned his lesson and he's not involved in being the middleman. He's using Twitch's built-in charity fundraising system. If you donate on his Twitch stream, the money goes directly to whatever he's fundraising money for, and Twitch also doesn't take a cut. Despite that, this was met with obvious snark from those on Reddit who were still upset at Gerard, which I feel is undeserved. I feel like he's trying to make his wrongs into a right, which I respect him for. And it's not just Gerard who has personally returned to doing charity work. The Open Hand Foundation held yet another golf tournament in May 2024, including big sponsorships still. There's a rumor Gerard attended, but I think that's not true. I couldn't find any solid proof of it. Following the charity scandal, Greg would return to Reddit to gloat about Gerard's controversy in a post titled, "A Message from an Old Friend or Foe," saying he knew something like this would happen involving Gerard and his family, and that's why he wanted the videos removed. He also claimed he was not involved at all with the charity stuff, writing that his hands were clean. He goes on to address how he's been, saying he has a family and he's happy, also stating he likely won't be returning to making videos. He finishes thanking the audience for enjoying the older videos, and encourages them to take care of themselves and enjoy life. In regards to the charity, I think Gerard and the foundation are definitely worthy of criticism, and I'm not here to defend him. He was deeply involved in an incompetent charity foundation, and some of Open Hand's past statements when trying to solicit donations seem sketchy to say the least. However, I think the narrative that he's malicious, a thief, and a scammer isn't the most accurate. Open Hand donated the money. There's no evidence that they stole money. He was involved in a foundation that grossly mishandled the money and took way too long to donate it. He didn't pocket all of it and spent it on himself. These are both bad things, but one is worse than the other, and they are two totally different things. And he wasn't the only person involved in the foundation, but a lot of the coverage would have you believe that as they singled him out. You are totally free to not like Gerard for the situation. It was bad, and I'm not even a fan of his content or anything like that. I just feel like some of the reporting on the situation used semantically inaccurate terms to describe the situation. They tried to make it sound more sensational. And that didn't need to happen because the charity withholding the money was already bad and inappropriate. And also, I think it's totally fair to ask for the charity to be more transparent on the dealings with the golf tournament money. Following the situation, the Completionist lost half of his paying Patreon supporters. His video views have dropped. He has lost over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is really bad. What does the future hold for Gerard? I have no idea. In his interview regarding the charity situation, he expressed his desire to move on from YouTube, so maybe he'll try launching a new business in the future. If you enjoyed this video, I recently released a giant documentary about a speedrunner named Shift. I put a lot of months and time and care into it, and I think a lot of you would enjoy it. I think it's my best work yet, and I'm not gonna try tackling a project that big again for a little bit. And subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and enjoy the video. Thanks, and God bless.